Southern Miss is going to a bowl game. They defeat ULM 20-10 here in Monroe, Louisiana. It has rained the entire game. Our dear friend Austin stood on the field during the rain the whole game until the game ended, and now
then it stopped raining.
Beautiful night. Austin, are you mad at Mother Nature?
I am quite upset, but hey, this is what football is about, getting wet and sloppy.
Avery Havis just talked to us, and he said, this is football weather.
Yes.
Absolutely. He said, quote, that he's from the north. He would rather be snowing than raining right now. But, it's football weather, raining, and that really helped the run game, I feel like.
Yeah, it did. So Southern Miss wins 20-10. So they qualify or are now eligible for a bowl game for the first time since 2019. Jackson, you're sitting next to me up in the press box. We could not see for most of the game. It's about 70 feet up there, and it was pouring down rain, and so it's like blocking our press box view. But just give me your overall thoughts on the game. Frank Gore Jr., 199, a touchdown. If they didn't have him, they probably don't win the game.
I have to agree. There's pros and cons for this game, but Frank Gore really was the star that he needed to be, right? He's the guy that Southern Miss fans point to and his teammates point to as, hey, you're the guy on offense. And he really showed that today. 199 yards rushing, a season high, and he reached the 1,000-yard mark for the first time since Ito Smith in 2017. Just a remarkable performance by Gore. He really never had a bad run, and he really took over after a Latrell Jones blocked punt. Frank Gore took it 33 yards to the house on the next play, and that was 20-10, which was your final score. Without Frank Gore, this team probably does not win, I think it's fair to say.
Yes, and just to add to that, also, you spoke about Frank Gore hitting that 1,000-yard mark. That was one of the questions that was brought up in the press conference was, were you aware of this? And he was like, yes, I was aware of this, and I knew coming into this that I wanted to be up there with some of the Southern Miss greats that have rushed, for 1,000 yards here. And he talked about that, and he talked about having that great game, and he got a lot of touches. And with his touches, he did a lot of magic tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. He told us, I knew what I had to get, and there was no way somebody was stopping me from getting that. Yeah. That is determination in himself and in this team, and we saw it from the beginning of the game. They ran on every single play to start the game. The touchdown was a little like jet sweep shovel pass to Chandler Pittman. Was it Chandler? Ja'Carrius Caston. Sorry. Ja'Carrius Caston, which I guess is on the stat line a pass, but it's really a rush. Yes. I mean, it's a jet, a little flip. So they ran it on every play. They were really trying to establish the run early. Gentlemen, 448 yards for Southern Miss today. That's incredible. I think that has to be the most all season. And their third down efficiency, 2 for 11, 20 first downs. They had 183 passing yards, 265 rushing yards. So we all said on the preview podcast that the rushing would be, really strong today just because of what we saw in the deficiencies of ULM in their rushing defense. You just talked about the punt block, the sequence that was a sack by Dominique Quawan, a punt block by Brendan Tolles, and then an immediate touchdown by Frank Gore Jr. Kind of got the ball rolling there for Southern Miss to seal the game. Another huge play of the game was Trey Lowe finding Latrell Jones for 59 yards on a deep post route. So, Jackson, that play seemed to me kind of getting some momentum back to Southern Miss.
Absolutely, and you might have seen me looking at Jake Lang over there, excited as ever after the game. But, yeah, that play to Latrell Jones really set the Golden Eagles up well, and then they had a rush for -3, and then they fumbled a snap and then the incompletion, which led to a field goal. And that really summed up the red zone deficiencies for Southern Miss all day, right? At the end of the first half, they had it at the 4-yard line. They dump it off to Cole Cavallo, and they can't get the spike off in time. And they came up 1 yard short. It looked reminiscent of the St. Louis, Tennessee Super Bowl from back in the day. It was that close. Mike Jones made the tackle, and then ULM made the tackle here. But Southern Miss was able to overcome.
You just said this game reminds you of the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The end of the first half reminded me at the end of that game.
We're comparing that game to the Super Bowl.
Keep up. But anyway, Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Anyway,
Super Bowl.
this was not quite the Super Bowl, but it kind of felt like the Super Bowl for Southern Miss because winner go home, and now they go to the postseason. But yeah, red zone deficiencies, they still have to be cleaned up. I asked Will Hall about that after the game, and he mentioned as the lights go out that there were 2 dropped wide open passes and then the fumbled snap. If they convert in the red zone, it's probably a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, this game could have gotten out of hand quickly. You know, ULM was able to respond with some over-the-middle passing plays to the receiver that we talked about. Austin, just on the field, what was kind of the momentum behind the bench? It seemed in the middle of the third when it was 10-10 and Southern Miss couldn't find anything going, it seemed like ULM may have had a lot of momentum. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of fans here, but, you know, they seemed to have a lot of momentum, you know, so.
Yeah, as you can hear some of the guys coming out the locker room psyched about the Nasty Bunch. Of course, that was one of the defensive guys. You hear Coach Armstrong back there, the defensive coordinator, talking about Nasty Bunch. But just the energy here. In that third quarter, you can kind of feel the shift of it. It was, you know, coming into this game, we knew it would be a ground and pound type of matchup. But you could see just the shift when the defense really got it going. As they were talking about the Nasty Bunch set the tone in that third quarter, and that is what turned it around. They got a couple sacks right there on Chandler Rogers, and then moving on from that, you see Southern Miss had those huge conversions when they needed them in the ground and pound game. They really got it going, and that's where the difference was on the rushing game. They broke a couple runs off. The defense got the stops that needed to be done, and that's what fueled this offense, and that's what fueled this offense all season long. It's been the defense, and the defense set the tone in the third quarter, and they got that touchdown right there. That was important.
Yep, the offense has always been dependent on the defense giving them an opportunity to score. Jackson, just going back to kind of what Will Hall said, you know, at the end of, we just talked to him in postgame. He said, we asked him, you know, what preference, if you had a preference for a bowl game, and he said, no, I just want to be there. You know, we just got to get there. It just seemed like today was, it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter what the weather shows. If they won by 1 point on the last second field goal, this entire fan base would not be disappointed as long as they won.
Absolutely, and there's an old cliche. Many people have said it. I remember Scott Berry saying this a lot. An ugly win is a lot better than a
baby.
Will Hall, all right.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. There's Will Hall there, excited after a win, but an ugly win is better than a pretty loss any day of the week. And Southern Miss looks like they're going bowling for the first time since 2019.
How about Will Hall appearance on the postgame video? Let's go.
Everybody's appearance.
Yeah, we had Jake Lang, Austin Armstrong, and now Will Hall. Maybe I don't know. Maybe get old Andrew Abbott. Where's he at? No.
Nah.
But
I don't know about that.
But yeah, I agree. You know, today was about winning. It doesn't matter how it looked. It doesn't matter whatever happened, as long as they won. Because, you know, we were looking on Twitter. We were seeing all this backlash on what is happening, and then you tweet out, you know, Southern Miss wins, they're going to bowl eligibility. It's like, oh my God, you know. So, yeah. Austin, just comment on that. Today was only about winning. It doesn't matter how it looked.
Yes, and you said it, I mean, as simple as that. Today was about winning, and just breaking it down. This game has been probably one of the most important games that Southern Miss has played in the last 3 years. Yeah. You know, finally from 2019, you know, we know the storylines and the backlash of what happened in the last couple of years, but now you have a shot at going to a bowl game after everything that's happened over the past years, and this is the change of the tide right here. Yeah. And this game was much needed. And looking at it, analyzing it, fans, of course, they thought that this game would, the sixth win would come earlier than this. The way they played, especially on the defensive end, you played to win games, and then you finally get it done right here. It was simply a sigh of relief, and you could just hear Coach Hall coming, just talking to us to the top. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear the fans when they were just chanting the whole game. The Southern Miss fans out. It seemed like Southern Miss fans were here the whole game. Their energy was louder than ULM fan base. It was crazy to see. Obviously, it wasn't that many people here.
Probably because like 10 ULM
yeah, obviously because it was a rainy match, and we know the circumstances of ULM's program right now. But this was a much-needed win, and it's not harder to say than that. And it was a sigh of relief, and you heard it in the fans, and you could see it. Coach Hall, Bobby Hall was here, his dad was here, and you could hear him say, "You're going to a bowl game. You know, this is the change of the tide here. You're changing the program around." And I just sitting right there, you could just feel the impact of that and feel the relief that Coach Hall had after so many hard-fought games that came down to the end. Yes, sir. You could hear it right there. So we got some more guys saying it. They're going bowling. This is what this team needed after so long, and you could just feel just the sigh of relief after everything that's happened in the past 3 years. These guys have put blood, sweat, and tears into this past 3 years, and you finally see it pay off with something of them going to a postseason now.
That's exactly right. It's just to me, we're just so happy for the team, man. I mean, just after everything that's happened the past 3 years, Will Hall said it on Tuesday. You know, these seniors and these juniors and players who may not even play football again have had the worst college experience you can ask for. I mean, you think about a national pandemic that, you know, nobody could do anything about. It's just unfortunate. And then everything that happened last season, going through whatever it was, 15 quarterbacks or whatever. I mean, just not a football team, right, Jackson? You know, and then now, you know, they turn it around. They get it done. They still deal with quarterback injuries, and they still, all throughout that adversity, are going to a bowl game. We're going to get out of here before they kick us out of the stadium, but Southern Miss wins 20-10 over ULM in a muddy, rainy day, but I don't think any Southern Miss fan is thinking that. It's not a gloomy day for them. It's a great day for them. That's Jackson Howell. That's Austin Lindsay. We had appearances from Austin Armstrong, Will Hall, and Jay Klang, and some more guys. Yeah, so everybody getting in on this post-game video. Thanks y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all at the bowl game, wherever it may be. So,
4th Street Sports.
4th Street Sports. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Diva Mixon.